Hello, Dream Team. Welcome along to this week's episode of The Good, the Bad and the Rugby, proudly sponsored, as always, by our fantastic partners at Continental Tyres.
Continental Tyres are the official tyre partner of England Rugby. Engineered for victory, their award-winning tyres are built to perform no matter the conditions. So get yourself involved, drop us a like and a comment, and make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts.
Not bad, is he?
Very good.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Today, we are diving into all things Bath. We have got two proper Bath legends with Lee Mears and Matt Perry, England internationals, Lions test players, and crucially, two men who have a story or two about our very own Mike Tindall. Before 2003 changed his life forever. And then we're going to fast forward a little bit to Bath as they are today, a club back where it belongs, chasing silverware, a Champions Cup semi-final this weekend in Bordeaux, with a proper shot at doing what is known as the real double. How are you both, first of all? Should we start with, not often we see each other twice in a week, but we saw you on Thursday, congratulations, inducted into the Bath Hall of Fame.
Yes, thank you.
Chuffed?
Surprised.
Surprised.
I mean, I certainly didn't play the game.
Can't be surprised.
You're a Bath ledge.
Fuck me.
I mean, we never played the game for expectations. I mean, I retired like 20 years ago now. So I never, in the Hall of Fame, but I didn't even know there was a Hall of Fame. So the fact that
they've only done it like twice before, so
Oh,
there
yeah.
is only 12.
Well, you got in last year, didn't you?
Yeah, I was in last year. So I think Jerry put himself in, and then we've never been allowed to. No one else can go in, and then they
It's just a Jeremy Guscott Bath Hall of Fame. Yeah. Sounds good.
No, he's not good enough. No,
Yeah.
he's not good enough. No.
basically Jack Rowe and Jerry Guscott.
Yeah. I actually think so. We should mention Stuart Barnes, Phil de Glanville, Nigel Redman, Ollie Barkley, Matt Banahan, and your good self were inducted in this year. I think Stuart Barnes was quite irritated that he's in lap 3 of the Bath Hall of Fame and wasn't one of the originals. But you're all right. You were sort of 14th, 15th in. That's a good knock, isn't it?
Yeah, to be honoured in that way, I was actually chuffed a bit, and a really nice plaque as well with a cap and your number and that sort of thing.
It's always nice.
Plaque
and a cap, isn't it?
Have you got
I
one
mean,
at home
that
for
is,
the plaque?
that is as Bath as you can get.
Yeah.
It's lovely with a lovely
plaque
a lovely cap.
in case of
The
emergency break
plaque.
glass. Where are you going to hang the plaque?
I'm not sure yet.
Right.
Probably in the office somewhere. So
Yeah.
I've got a. I was lucky to have got my Lions shirt, England and Bath shirt in a montage, and that's probably my only kit. The rest of it is in the loft. So I'll probably put it somewhere. But at the moment, it's
We'll figure it
It's on
out.
the dog's
TBC.
basket.
TBC.
And we should just mention as well that you lived with Tins in the early days. You lived with Tins. Did you ever live together as a three?
So I lived with Mearsy before, Mearsy and Bolsh.
Yeah.
They say that we lived together. Mearsy realised he didn't really want to live with me and Bolsh, so even though he was technically paying rent, he spent most of his time at his now wife Danielle's house or at his mum's, because we went out quite a lot, and Mearsy was not really on that path.
You were what's called a professional in the era of professional rugby.
And
Yeah, we can definitely go there.
Yeah.
And then I moved in with Pez around the 99 World Cup, just before that sort of year.
This is the one where you went to the World Cup leaving his front door open
Yes.
for 2-3 months. Whatever it would have been. Weeks. Let's say weeks.
Let's say 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Five,
Right.
5 weeks. Because they
Yeah.
started, it was before the Tonga match, which was quite violent. No, Fiji, I think it was.
You got taken out in that one, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Landed on my head.
yeah.
And
I told him, actually. He didn't remember me telling him that it was open, but he didn't
Right.
sort it out.
I said, Tins, where's the key?
I know, you've got new locks.
I'm now sitting telling.
yeah. It sort of was like that.
Right.
But we shared many a moment there. I got dropped from the 99 World Cup there.
Yeah.
He actually came up. We were in on a night out. I found out at 3 o'clock in the morning because we'd walked in at that time, and Clive had sent me an email saying,
Yeah.
we shared so many things together.
Well, I remember that because Tins had a great nighttime habit of after a night out, he was like cat sick under radiators.
Occasionally.
Well, do you want to talk? Okay, well, maybe 2 or 3 times.
Maybe just at your house.
I can really feel this is the sort of show which is going to have a lot of editing taking place in it.
Maybe.
Discuss?
I might have. So I was in my very younger years then, 99. I was only
lasted
21.
well
So
into
I went
mid-40s.
out to maybe Excess a couple of times, and unfortunately a couple of times too many at Pez's house.
Right.
And I sort of treated it like my own house, which was unfortunate. But then I knew it wasn't mine, so
Yeah.
I didn't normally do the best job.
I also remember that though, 99, because we went to Australia. We played Queensland, and it was a centenary test, 100 years since England and Australia played. And then it was the World Cup, so we straight into that, and we obviously lost to South Africa, Yannick de Beer.
Yeah.
But I remember Tim's disappointment from not making the squad. Then literally he applied himself mentally, physically, and when he came back, and it was like a changed man.
I was mainly frustrated that Barry John Mather got further than I did. I think nothing against Barry John, but I thought I was better than that. I didn't get a game, and then the next year there was because DG retired from international.
The Glanville.
Yeah, Phil de Glanville. Jerry retired in that World Cup. As I always
Against
say.
Tonga, wasn't it?
Yeah, broken fingernail, really awkward.
In the process of scoring, I think.
Yeah. No, his groin, he'd had so many problems with his groin, it finally packed in. So he gave me a real opportunity then for that Six Nations in 2000. So I think I jumped on that.
Right. So you're a couple of years older than these two. Did you come through together? What was your entry? Yeah, you did.
So me and Tins going right back. I was a Colston's boy. Came from Torbay. Played for England 16s. Got invited to a private school in Bristol. Had Andy Robinson as my teacher.
Yeah.
And we played Tins twice at Twickenham, the mighty Queggs Wakefield.
We didn't score a point.
In 2 games?
Yeah.
Ouch. So you presumably got to Bath because of Colston's connection?
Yes, yeah. So
Alan Martinovich as well.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. The legend that was, so our coaches were Andy Robinson, but he went straight, so 1996, I remember Robbo came in as a teacher and said, the game's gone professional, I don't have to teach you anymore, pretty much like that. And he went to Bath and it had all gone professional. These boys had the first year of professionalism living at Bath Uni.
Right.
And then they decided that was a bad idea. And so the next crop was me, Tins, Bolsh, and I chose to live with these boys. Got there early, as a forward does, demanded the biggest bedroom. And yeah, I had the double bed and
we slept in it more than he did.
Never really wanted to get in it. But I knew Tins was I knew I wasn't so sure about Bolsh. We can go down this road.
Is definitely a passing of the baton from forwards to backs from 100 years previously.
So yeah, and anytime because I met my wife Danielle at Colston's, and anytime we rocked up to the house and she'd look at my bed and go, oh,
yeah, we're not getting in that one.
No.
Yeah.
And then Tins was the cleanest because he had this hippie scrub everywhere you went.
Yeah.
Look at his complexion, you can tell.
What's a hippie scrub?
Hippie scrub is like what they wash their hands to go into surgery. But I used to get loads of spots, so I used to actually use it to wash my face.
This really is the show that's going way above and beyond anything we've ever delivered before.
Yeah,
a teenage Mike Tindall.
Pez lived down the road, round the corner. We lived in the Hollow, and then Pez lived down with Charlie Harrison.
Yeah.
But their house was a bigger shithole because Pezza lives in a shithole. He loves a shithole.
Not anymore, mate.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm nearly 50.
So these two obviously would have been a couple of years younger. And by this point, you were not only established at Bath, but also an England international. So tell us about your route into the club, because it's a bit more homegrown, isn't it?
Well, I was born in the city, moved away, then went to boarding school, went to Millfield on a bursary. Interesting, we've got a Sir Gareth Edwards evening for his foundation, which is an inaugural one at the East India Club, because Millfield was set up 1935 for Indian princes, and to see where it is now, and how it's moved on. And part of what Millfield does is give back to people who couldn't afford it. And so I luckily had a bursary, went through, had a great time. Sevens was a great, Millfield loved sevens.
Yeah.
So
Boston Park?
Won prep and the senior school. Yeah, so that was a nice way in, and just the school, the game, the characters, the people you meet was amazing. And then I left school, didn't know what I was going to do, so I went to work in a tea room in Bath. I was living with my grandmother at the time, and I had a mini metro with a choke.
Yeah.
And I
I'm
used
not
to
driving a mini
drive.
metro. I'm not driving a mini
No,
metro. I will be
I will,
driving a mini metro.
Anything for independence.
Yeah.
So I can remember my wages, £1.80 an hour. And,
Stop it.
Yeah. And
It's
I
like
got
the
a pay
18th
rise.
century.
And you
Got
lived
pay
well.
rise.
Yeah, the penny farthing.
Yeah.
You do well, by the way.
And then the game was amateur. So I went to Spartans training twice a week. And I kind of went through then. I went to South Africa for about 6 months
Right.
to cut my teeth in that first
Whereabouts?
year, 95 Durban.
Oh, did you?
So I played Durban Crusaders for under 21s, that was. And then kind of came back, and the game then just transitioned. That was the Wild West of transition from amateur to professional, where no one knew what was going on. What should we do? But we've got this first group of academy players
Yeah.
that we'd like to, go through. And like I say, we lived at the uni, but only for a year because the uni
That was
said,
enough.
That's not,
Yeah,
we're not
yeah.
we're not having more
Completed
of
it,
that.
yeah.
And then I played my first game December 95, but then went to South Africa, came back, and then 96, 97 is where things really turned for me. In 97, first game for England, November. So it was a very short, kind of intense 2 years to go from school.
Boiling the tea to running out against.
Yeah.
But that must have been some of Clive, because Clive was obviously at the Bath at the time, so he would have seen you, so he knew a bit more about you than possibly other people.
And he was 21's coach as well.
Yeah.
So we went to Australia with the 21s, and he was coach. Then he came to Bath, he was coach, and again, so as we know with our careers, you've got to there's an element of being in the right place. You've got to work hard. You've got to take your opportunities. And I think there was a period at that time, because I actually came through the ranks playing fly half and centre.
Okay.
So I played most of the European Cup in the centre. But then Clive said, "Do you fancy going and playing fullback?" And there was a bit of a gap there. And I was like, what do you,
Yeah.
I was like,
How to do that? But yes.
so then I just took a million high balls and trying to work out positionally.
The
how to do
rat.
it.
Which you became
Tony
very
Adams.
very good at. And what do you remember? I mean, you mentioned the fact that it happened very, very quickly, and you went from making tea to playing for England. I always remember Sir Clive talking about the fact he turned up at Twickenham on day one and said, and where's my office? And they went, what on earth are you talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole lot, by the sound, it was being made up at that point. But what do you remember of stepping into an England environment at the sort of dawn of a whole new era?
Yeah, I mean, it was transition for everyone, I think, because there were, and certainly Clive's standards at that point, you could see he was quite different. Because I'd had him as a 21s coach. I didn't know what the environment was like before, but you could see that he was going to do things very differently. So just even having a nutritionist or having, just having more structure to training and having a kicking coach. So I used to do endless Dave Allred sessions, Coombe Dingle, Bristol in terrible weather and just constantly kick, but it gave you a repetition. So you could see that he wanted to create those marginal gains and get that 1% extra right from the start. But he was, obviously the whole game was going through this massive transition of players and commercial and all kinds of different things going on. So,
And did you love it? Did you feel quite comfortable with all that?
I mean, I was young.
Yeah.
You kind of soak it up, you get into it, and you kind of work it out as you go. I mean, the thing for Bath was, when it went professional, how fit were we? We used to wake up at 7, do plyometrics, then we'd do weights, then we'd do a rugby session. Then if you were part of the first team squad, you did another rugby session, then we might do another session. So as a young, 18, 19-year-old, you could not be, you're so incredibly...
I remember that very differently.
Right.
I remember one session a day, it was at 10 o'clock, so we knew you could still get to bed at 2 a.m. and still make that session without any problems. And then you had an optional weight session in the afternoon if you really wanted to, or you go with Andy Nicol to Chequers and just drink for the rest of the day.
Right. Hence why you were captain 97 and you took a bit longer to get there. Yeah.
Well, I was just using my student years.
Right.
Yeah. But but then we got Jim Blair in from New Zealand, didn't we?
Yeah.
He changed it a little bit. I mean, he smoked 80 a day, so it was a bit of do as I say, not do as I do. But then we did get specific sort of speed training came in that we'd never done before, different lifting in the gym. So we did actually push it forward in probably more than what everyone else was, but it was still fighting with what is amateur, what is professional.
Yeah.
Addy Addy and I'd turn up from London in a white limousine or something. So there was
Him and Vic.
Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. So it was always a bit of, but it was probably amazing for us three. As Pezza obviously was more probably already in there, whereas I turned up and Mearsy turned up, and you look at that squad. I still always say you don't walk into. There's no one who walks into an environment now where you've got that many internationals in one squad.
No.
It was incredible.
It was phenomenal.
And big characters as well. What do you remember of? I mean, you mentioned Adebayo, Victor,
Redmond was there, Martin
Gary
Haag.
Skirts.
Eric
Haag.
Peters, Hargy,
Ben
Herman,
Clark, or had he gone
Herman
to
Lannis,
Richmond?
Clarkey
He came
was,
later,
Clarkey
He came
was,
later.
was there.
Came back.
You had Nathan Thomas, you had Shep, John Mallett,
Hagee.
John Hilton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then in the backs you had Rich Buckland, Andy Nicol, Catty,
Yayan.
Yeah.
Yayan, Simon Gagan was there.
Yeah, he was.
Um,
John Slight.
John
And
Slight
was it warm and welcoming, or did you have to seriously go through your layers
You
of
started
proving
in like
yourself?
the third changing rooms, and you had to work your way up.
Yeah,
We weren't even allowed in the changing room
No.
sometimes,
right.
but yeah.
Changing the car park.
Yeah.
They were hard on you. They
Who
were
was the
fair.
hardest? Who really put you through your paces?
Jerry, yeah, without a
Right.
shadow of a doubt.
Jerry led everything in terms of if you got Jerry's respect, then no one else really worried about it. They'd let you do whatever Jerry would let you do.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Proper gatekeeper.
The thing I loved was you had to play on a Tuesday night, didn't you? Didn't matter what. Second team game. I mean, if you didn't have Eric Peters, you'd have Steve Ajomo. If you didn't have Steve Ajomo, you'd have Dan Lyle. I mean, it's internationals galore.
Yeah, we played off. I don't know whether you started the first one against Gloss when we first came back, and no first team would have beaten that team. You know, the back line was like Nicol, Butland, myself, John Pritchard. You were in the first team at the moment, so JC was at fullback. Bolsh was on one wing, and Yayan was on the other wing.
For a Tuesday night BT game.
For a Tuesday
Right.
night BT game.
Good luck.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah. You couldn't play on a Saturday unless you'd played on the Tuesday if you were coming back. So it'd be littered. And then I remember Tins early on scored 3 tries, or it might have even been 5 tries. He had a stormer, and he walks in into the Lambridge, like the sort of this little hut. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And he walked in, and I just remember Jerry saying, and we were all going, "Oh, Tins, 5 tries." And Jerry basically looked at him and was like, "Have you got a flashlight?" And we're like, "What?" And he's like, "Mate, you're like a fucking turnstile. Your defence round and round and round. You might need a flashlight to show people to your seats." And we're literally go, "I thought you played really well, Tins."
But that's what he did.
Yeah.
It was like pick you apart and then see what you fight back at.
Did you have
we
to
had
go
a
through that?
session where Brian Ashton was coaching, and Jerry just stopped it. Went, Brian, I'm not training with mixed ability anymore.
Right. and Brian's
like,
response was,
It was like,
okay.
I think we had a break then.
Yeah. A little time out. Did you have to prove yourself in similar fashion?
Very much so, yeah. It was a tough environment. I always see Bath like a dysfunctional family that loved each other, that had healthy tension and used to love fighting in training.
Yeah.
But were winners and knew how to win. But there were, with that tension, you got commitment and accountability. And, when we were training at Lambridge, there wasn't values on the wall. Everyone knew what you had to do. And if you weren't up for the club, and I always remember saying, if anyone leaves and goes back up the A46, don't expect to come back, because there was that culture of, if you're Bath, you're in the most professional amateur team, and we're going to train harder than any other team's going to train. So on game day, we're fit for purpose and we're ready to go, and we're well practiced. So the training was relentless, wasn't it? I mean, there was that culture of
In terms of physicality.
Yeah.
Like, who goes, we always talk about it, you couldn't do it now, but Thursday night, seconds versus first, it was
Full
fucking
ball.
hard. It was harder than a game, yeah.
yeah.
Because also you thought, well, if I can run over the top of Catty, knock him out, I'll get a game or whatever. It was basically like that.
Right.
And everyone was always angry that they didn't get picked. When you had the back row and the 4-pack that we had, then someone was always pissed off. So, mall fights always went on. It was just, it was carnage from that perspective.
And that's, again, just going back to that. So if you didn't sort of thinking about combinations, so it was either Victor Abogu and Dave Hilton, or you had John Mallett and Kevin Yates. And it's sort of, Robbo's like to, sort of go between the two. If you lost, they'd definitely get rotated.
Yeah.
But so Yatesy and John Mallett were arguably mates. And TV cameras had just started coming to training. So Robbo had said, we're not going to show any line-outs. We're going to keep it all in-house. Make sure you behave. Second line-out, Shep gets upset with Yatesy. Whack. And we just have this massive fight. Robbo's like, no, not for the cameras.
Lead story, Meridian TV, 6 years.
Just if they'd broadcast that earlier, the sport would be massive now.
Yeah. Bring back the
Fight
myth.
Club.
I think the hostility of the players, now I look back and I think actually they had it right.
Yeah.
When we were there, like Jerry going, why are we doing this? It came across as negative. But then what I realised as my career went on is the way he did it wasn't always great. But what would happen, it was someone would go, why are we doing it like that? And those boys were able to solve problems. And yes, they did it in a proper hostile argue. I mean, sometimes you thought, are they going to have a punch up? Andy Nicol and John Callard, they would go at it. But that's where they were creative. And yes, it was always built on solid foundations.
But the physicality mostly came from the forwards. But then you had Barnsley, Catty, Jerry. You had a backline that could move and shape offline running. Jerry could fix 4 people and then put, So you had this sort of 2 entities, the tight and the loose, that historically had won for decade, won everything. And now how do they replicate that with a new set of transitioning young players? Because I think the European Cup, there's only 3 or 4 of us that played in that. The rest, that team never played again. Yeah. And so it was almost like a vacuum. And I think that's where the club struggled for quite a while, because the club weren't able to.
Well, they didn't really get it right till last year, did they?
No. I look back
for a while. ... It's obviously a massive weekend for Bath this weekend, given the context of going out to Bordeaux, and it is a return to probably the most famous day in the club's history in '98. And you've touched on the team. So working back, it was John Callard, Adair Adebo, Jan Evans, Phil de Glanville, Jeremy Guscott, Mike Catt, Andy Nicol, Dave Hilton, Mark Regan, Victor Ubogu, Nigel Redmond, Martin Haag, Nathan Thomas, Richard Webster, Dan Lyle, Freddie Mendes, John Mallett, Eric Peters, Russell Earnshaw, Ricky Pello, Rich Butland, Matt Perry. What do you remember of that? And actually, it's interesting, we're talking about sort of you being inducted into the Bath Hall of Fame. There was a lot of talk about '98, given that a number of others from that team were inducted in. What do you remember of the run, the day, the significance of becoming the first English club to
Well,
win
I
in
remember playing every single minute of every game before, and that was 8 games.
Yeah.
As I was, and you'll find this funny, I was Jerry Guscott's stunt double.
Right.
I'll say double, because he broke his arm in the Lions tour, and then obviously needed 6 months to recover, but he was fit for the final. So I remember that week I was 21.
Yeah.
I was gutted because I was actually playing fullback for England at the time, but I was playing centre for Bath and JC. And I remember the week before, Mike Catt was kicking against Richmond, and Jerry needed to find some fitness. So he had a United game and then that game to show he was fit. And I was playing fullback. And if Catty had kicked well, I would have probably started at fullback, but JC was on the selection panel, and I think Robbo, Andy Nix, and whoever, they said, I think we need JC for this one, which was a good decision, because he scored every point and
scored the try.
He did, and Jerry gave it to him. So I remember that well. So I mean, it was quite an interesting mental week for me, and then I got my shirt nicked on the bus afterwards as well, which is a bit of a gutter. I put it in, and someone must just have come, and I mean, there was no barriers or anything. Someone just pilfered it. But what I remember about the game and the atmosphere and the fans and the legacy and Bath winning, that team fully deserved, and that squad deserved that win, because if Jan hadn't tackled this chap Carrat, who was, remember the Carrat brothers? They were
rapido.
If you hadn't done that, it could have been a completely different story. But you had a fantastic Brive team, and they were in our pool as well. So we played them twice, and then we played them in the final. So it was intense, but the thing for me was the supporters, and in Bordeaux, seeing the Bath fans, seeing the passion, seeing how much it meant to them, and it meant to that team that they'd raised the biggest trophy was very special. So much
and
talent.
you were massive underdogs that day as well. I mean, do you remember, it's interesting hearing you all talk about what made the club what it was. Is that almost the essence of what got you over the line? I mean, they missed a drop goal, I think, in front of the post right at the end as well.
Yeah.
It was really sort of smash and grab.
Yeah, Bath probably shouldn't have won that game, but they did, and that just shows the nature of the team and the club, that they came through and in the most adverse environment ever. But then you've got this sea of blue, black, and white. Who, after the final whistle, it was just chaotic and had a big McDonald's.
In the
Oh,
parade,
did you? Celebrating stuff.
True, yeah.
Do you remember watching it? Where were you guys?
Yeah, I watched it at home with my mum and dad, and then got in the car and drove straight down. So I was there when they got back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for a
Not your first rodeo.
night out of night outs. Yeah.
And then the parade and everything was
Yeah.
unbelievable because you know the whole city came out, a bit like the recent one.
Yeah.
But it means a lot to the fans of Bath, and the city do come and support. And so
This is a message brought to you by American Express. We all know how tricky it can be to find the right work-life balance, rather like the exhilarating life of our very own James Haskell. Amex understands that it's essential to work hard and to play hard.
With Amex, you can earn points on what you buy and use them for things you love.
For instance, if you're a small business, you can earn points on everyday purchases like furniture and new tech, then use those points to help you switch off and recharge.
Perhaps a little relaxing getaway for you, James, to come back into work with the right mindset. What do you think?
Do you know what? I'd absolutely love that. I'm planning one.
Are you?
Yes.
Health and
Well,
wellness retreat.
I think a little south of France, maybe Portugal with the family. So I've got it all under control.
Very good indeed.
The best part about these points is that they never expire, so you can save them from quarter to quarter. This means you could save up for something a little bit more significant. Let's say a trip down under to the Rugby World Cup 2027.
Tins is already halfway there. He spends more time globetrotting than he does on this show.
Very true indeed. So for more information, search Amex Business Cards. Interest, fees and terms apply. Available to UK limited companies and limited liability partnerships. Signatories must be a director or member of the business. Subject to approval. See amex.co.uk for more details. And so I suppose throwing it forward to this week, what hope have they got against the champions? The form team, the absolute rock stars of today.
But you've got two rock stars teams. I think Bordeaux are exceptional, but so are Bath. Bath have been quickly behind. You look at the Northampton game where they went massively behind, and then you always know that if you can't kill them off, because then they'll always have this bench that will come on. So, look, I think, do I worry about them going there and getting overwhelmed? No. Do I think you've got the perfect 10 to go and play there? You've got a perfect 9 actually who can balance the game and run the game, and they've just got an unbelievable team, unbelievable squad. So they'll definitely fancy it.
You've obviously both got connections with the club now, which we'll come on to. But what do you see when you look at this Bath squad now relative to what the last 15, 20 years has had? Is it the best strength in depth set up?
I think spirit. I think they're clear on the game plan. I think they've got talent all over the park. I think they've got an outstanding squad. I think they're playing a 15-man game. And if you think about what Bath are all about is, they're entrepreneurial, innovative. Brian Ashton always said the best place to run is from your own try line, because that's when the defence is weak. So you've got players there that are willing to take risks and calculated risks, because I think we've got an excellent pack that's direct. But then we've got these backs that can, do anything, and they're going forward at every opportunity. So, but I think teamwork is the main thing that I see now, because unless you've got 15, 23 players that are all in it together, you're going to come unstuck in the really tough times.
Yeah, and to manage that squad, to have that many quality players, and not really have anyone splintering off. That's sort of another side where the coaching group and Johan sort of
Keeps everyone engaged.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're Cam Redbath, I know it must be really hard. Like he's an international centre, but yeah, you've also got Ollie Lawrence, you've also got Max Jomo. You've got to balance who gets game time when they get game time.
Will Butt went well at the weekend.
Will Butt's a good player.
Yeah.
So you've got all these, and then you've got all the options on the wing, and you've got your fullback options. So to keep them all motivated and manage them, I think he's done. Yes, they were unlucky on the, to lose that Northampton game on the weekend, but the way they've been able to manage that, I think they're very they're integrated, so they can lose one player and still it doesn't make a massive difference to how they play or whatever, and they can rotate because they just do it. And I think they've got used to it now, and that's a massive strength for them going forward.
Yeah.
I love what he's doing there in terms of you speak to the boys, and because you're in the city, you get to chat to them. And he's always said we've gone from hope to belief. They believe that they can win every game. In the papers writing them off last week, and they believe that they can go up there and they can challenge Northampton. Fully loaded. Kieran Donahue hasn't played for 6 months. Comes on and throwing Finn. Finn Russell passes. They support each other. There's no fractions. I agree with Tins. It's an amazing job.
Can we touch on the fact? You've both got boys in the system? Is that right?
Mizzy does.
Yeah.
I don't.
You don't. Is Archie not? I've got here that he's playing bit of wing, bit of fullback.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. I don't think he's in the Bath system.
Right.
He's on the
academy
DPP.
stuff. Yeah.
Oh, is he? Yeah. Right.
Good to know.
Breaking news. Anything else you want to know?
Just in case.
He plays wing and
He's
fullback.
had one session, has he?
Right. Okay. Got you.
Yeah.
Still, but I mean, how ambitious is your boy?
Yeah, he absolutely loves the club.
Yeah.
I mean, he would bleed, and he's committed, and he's a good lad.
How old is he?
It'd be good to add the
15.
Perry
15.
and the Mears into the Glanvilles, the Ajomos, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And
There's
my
a
eldest
Hooper in
as
there
well,
as
Jack.
well.
He's a
Hoops
great
is little
player.
man.
Yeah.
So, but he's leaving school this year, so he's 18 in June as well. But you see, I mean, it's kind of, what I want to see them is enjoy the game.
Yeah.
And to keep playing the game, whatever level, because what they'll get out of it in their life, whatever, they do, make sure I want to keep them motivated
Involved.
to play.
Yeah. And your boy is playing scrum half. I keep seeing him on sort of academy team sheets and things like that. How much is he enjoying?
Oh, he's loving it.
setup?
I mean, again, the boys, compared to when we went in and you earned your stripes,
Yeah.
I was like that. Are they being mean to you? Are they getting stuck into you? And he's like, no, they're amazing.
Interestingly,
So
he's
then Mears, he takes it.
Yeah.
You're rubbish.
Yeah, exactly.
Mears, he couldn't
I'll
do that
keep it
either.
there.
No, he couldn't do that. Just
interesting
smile
that
and giggle.
he's playing scrum half. So your wife must be quite sort of talented and
Yes, I wish I
quick.
could have.
Quick.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
actually, to be
exactly.
fair,
Mears,
you
could have
were
played
back in a
scrum half,
two-shirt,
yeah,
weren't you?
exactly. No,
So you could have actually played
Too
anyway.
fat and slow.
if he didn't have a melted wheelie bin of a body, he could have been a back.
Imagine me now. You could put
But-
me on and I'd get a high tackle straight
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
I'd be.
It's like Mears, he had these massive quads, really strong, really fast, really elusive, a little pair of a body, and then some nice set of arms. It was a shame. It was just the middle action.
Just natural scrum half.
Yeah.
You
I
did
think
all right with it.
didn't Barks describe me as legs of a bodybuilder, upper body of a teddy bear?
There you go.
Building it as you
Very
go.
good way of putting it.
And how ambitious is Isaac? Where does he want to go? And what does he
Yeah,
want to
I
achieve?
think he wants to. He just at the moment he's just enjoying it. Bath again have got this phenomenal pathway where, going back to the olden days, Chris Lilly was like the custodian of the culture of Bath. He was in the United. His sons are all involved in the academy. So Craig Lilly runs it. You've got Mark Lilly. Sean's in one of the private schools there. So they've created this ethos below. They got in the final of the Academy League this year. I think it's 3 years in a row they've been in the final of the Academy League.
Yeah.
Isaac was lucky to be in 2 of those. And then this year they send a lot of the boys to Bath University. And the Bucks League, I don't know if any of you have been able to
Fantastic.
watch it, but it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
They had 8 or 9,000 people watch the Bath Exeter game at the Rec.
It was at the Rec, yes,
the
that's right.
Rec,
And
yeah,
the
yeah.
final was in Newport.
And
is
the
that right?
final was in Newport against Loughborough. So, he's had a great season and he's loved every minute of it. And he's got a bit like when I had, you look above you and he looks and goes, oh my goodness, how good are the scrum halves above? But that's where you learn.
Yeah.
Because you can start to pick elements of...
But they're nice to him and they're helping him and they
Yeah.
talk to him and
Yeah.
So the game has changed.
Yes.
Yeah. Unreal. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about is obviously we've touched on the famous day in Bordeaux in '98, but I think I'm right in saying it, Bath then went 10 years without a trophy and then they won the Challenge Cup, didn't they, with you? That was under Borthers, wasn't it?
Yes,
Before we went
yeah.
to Sarries. And then it was 17 years on without another trophy until the Prem last year. Is it easy to put your finger on, as three people who love the club, why things drifted from perhaps the environment you stepped into?
Earlier on, we possibly jumped to a brand new squad a bit early. Like
Right.
when Barks came in, we sort of lost a lot of. Clarkey went back to Richmond. We lost, like Addy retired. We lost a lot that year.
Yeah.
And then we asked a lot of the new guys coming in, which was Barks, Crockett,
Andy
Sam,
Higgins.
Higgy. Obviously then Bestie would have come around that time as well. And I think we sort of suddenly just flipped the sheet. Well, we did get to a final. We lost to Wasps, where we seemed to have all the ball. Trevor Leota threw it to us the whole time, yet we couldn't score, and they intercepted. Stewie Abbott intercepted and scored. That was about basically all it wrote. But yeah, I just think we sort. I think from my point of view, when I was playing there, we just struggled to find that. We did win the league that year,
Yeah.
but we lost the final.
And that was
So
the
apart
year
from
after.
that,
You'd only just avoided relegation. wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
Elvis Savioliti.
That's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Were you all
Elvis
involved?
Stanley's
Were you-
shoes.
yeah, you
Yeah, I mean, Elvis, wow.
that was
We,
Gareth
we
Cooper.
needed to win
Yeah.
3 games out
Yeah.
of 4
Yeah.
to stay up. And I remember we had an
He scored like
emergency
a hat-trick or
meeting.
something, didn't he? It was
Yeah, he was incredible.
Elvis, yeah.
And we said,
Well, he scored in the last minute.
and we got someone in to say, well, what do you think is the best thing to do? Here it is. And we had Borthers, who was cleaning up the line at the moment. So we used to just hammer the ball into the other half. And Borthers used to clean the line out.
Yeah.
And we used to get territory.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was just one very simple strategy. And we won those 3 games. Or, it could be a very different story.
Yeah.
Really. But we did. I mean, 2001, we got to the final of the Premiership. 2003, we won it, but we lost in the final. 2005, we lost the cup final to Leeds.
We lost
So-
in
so
the
there was-
semi-final
but-
Europe to Biarritz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were always there or thereabout. We
There was
just
the
didn't
Leicester
have
Dupuis
that.
one as well.
Yes, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, we just didn't have that.
Yeah.
But everybody was catching up at that point, weren't they? Squads were getting stronger. Yeah. I mean, but
Well, the salary
Yeah.
cap was playing its role where you had to do you sort of had to integrate. You couldn't really hammer anyone. Maybe some were, but I don't really know why it took. I can't really put a finger on it in terms of like the early 2000s. I just thought we shifted poorly away, but as I say, 03 we managed to get there.
Yeah.
And were we ready? Because that was quite a new squad, that 03 one. Like,
Yeah, it was, yeah.
that
yeah.
did Wiley Human come in that year?
Well,
Yes, yeah.
Like I was playing. That's the game where Mudos wiped me the first game back from like the World Cup,
Yeah.
and I was playing with a few guys who I'd never even met. I'd literally only just met coming back from the World Cup. So we saw that year was a strange one that we seemed to gel. very
He's only
quickly.
human.
Robbie Fleck as well.
Yeah, Fleck. Oh
my
yeah, Flecky
God.
came back. Yeah, Wiley didn't get picked in every away game, but told his wife he was going away for every away game. He disappeared for a
I
weekend.
hope they're still happy together.
He just loved a weekend away.
Yeah.
So it's hard to pinpoint why it's sort of you look like you're onto something one year, then you'd have a bad year, then you go again. I don't really.
I don't think it was the individual players.
No.
Because if you think about even from 2010
Yeah.
into that era, there were some outstanding players there. Butch,
Yeah.
I mean, at 10.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah, that wonderful
Sidney.
period of Carl Eastman, and you had
Yeah.
all that about JJ, and you had all this sort of where they showed
George
everything.
Ford.
Yeah,
Ran the
lost
show for a bit.
Lost in the
Yeah.
final to Sarri.
Yeah, and arguably could have won that game, but Sam Burgess was there. So that it's just. Maybe it's just it's never been consistent. It's
Yeah.
been it's been sort of highs, lows, and you can never sort of get settled. And whereas now they just seem so settled for the last 3 years, really 4 years,
Yeah.
and they've just progressively got better. They immediately get there, but now they're seeing a well put together, well built squad that's now believes in each other. And as you say, if they truly do believe, then that's half the battle.
Yeah. They've recruited well as well. When you think
Yeah,
about what
yeah.
they've done, particularly when Worcester and Wasps went under. They've picked up some unbelievable players.
Yeah.
Ted Hill, Alfie Barbary,
yeah,
Ollie Lawrence.
Ollie
Ted Hill.
Yeah.
But then
players like that.
you've got guys coming through. Miles Reed on the weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, Miles for me has been one of the best players all
Yeah.
year. His old man again was with us.
Josh Bayless.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Repeat.
How fast is he?
Yeah.
Like,
Ollie Slighter.
He tried to take Ollie Slighter
Yeah.
tried to take him on the outside, and I was like, okay, I fancied it. No, he's not going to do
Shut
it.
the door.
And the week before, someone tried to do it, and he
Yeah.
he got
Yeah.
back to it and got him.
For you though, and each of you can answer this, which were your best days in a bar show? What do you remember of the season or the campaign or the days that you'd love to be able to live again now?
I think for me, that 2000-2001 season, I think with the Lions tour, the culmination of that.
Yeah.
I think I played 46 games in that year. There was a lot of rugby, but it was personally a great period.
Yeah.
And we had a great team, good banter, wasn't it? And really good squad. We got
Great
to
card school.
the card school, Magsy.
Who led the card? Was Kevin Maggs in charge of cards?
Catty, Pezza loved the game.
What was the card game of choice?
3-card brag.
Right.
Always 3-card brag.
Were you good? Did you pay off the mortgage?
He's good at donating.
No.
You get your tax back on your charitable donations. No.
Has got bored very easily, so we
Right.
like to go in
Yeah.
blind.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
If only.
Mearsy
We're
used
they're
to-
long bus trips.
Mearsy
Yeah.
used to get his padlock out on his wallet. £2.50. I'm in for one hand. Right, okay, cheers, Mearsy.
They used
Right,
to,
we go.
they used to take
You sound
the
very
mick at me.
sensible, Mearsy.
Oh,
You know, you
yeah.
sat at the right seats of the bus. So who cleared up at the card school?
It went round in.
Circles,
Magsy
yeah.
loved it, but Bolsh was either a big winner or
Shit
a
or
massive
bust.
loser. Yeah. So there was quite a few of those. There's a few sensible lads, but
But
They
that's what
still-
made the camaraderie.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
The boys loved like going to Newcastle. You would
Yeah.
it would play 8 hours of cards
Yeah, literally.
all the way.
People
Someone
would have lost
would
their
be
entire
broke.
salary for the year by the time they ran
and
out.
then you get there, and then you'd eat dinner, and then you'd play
Play
cards.
some more, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Little
was-
post-it notes with
Yeah.
Yeah. Trade the car.
Yeah.
John Allen. Where's the nearest cash point?
John, can you transfer my salary to Bolsh this month, please?
What was the hit the post game you used to play as well?
Shoot the pot.
Shoot-
when you
Oh
hit
my
post.
god.
What was that?
So shoot the pot is like everyone puts, I don't know, £3 in the middle. Let's say there's 7 of you, so there's 21 quid in the middle, and then you turn over 2 cards. Say it's a 4 and an 8. That you bet then on what the next card, whether it'll be between those two numbers. So if it's 4 and an 8, you can get a 5, 6, or a 7.
Yeah.
If you hit the post, you double the pot. If you go £3 in, you win and you take £3 out, so the pot's down to 18.
Right.
But then you just live for the day where someone gets a 4 and a king, and he shoots the pot, and a 4 comes, and he has to double it in, and he'd sometimes get out of hand because the amount of times you'd hit the post or you'd miss or whatever.
Right. Is Isaac trading his academy salary the same way, or is it have they tidied it up a bit? Did the gaming commission come in and shut it down? It sounds. I mean, it's a different era though. Now,
Yeah,
isn't it?
100%. Yeah, but it was. But I agree with Pez. I think sort of my favourite period was that point, because I think it was probably personally most successful. Got to play for England that year. Sort of established yourself a bit more, playing with, in a great team with some great people, having the balance between living a young life and having the fun that we had,
Yeah.
while and not having really any cares at all.
Yeah. Yours was the 2000-2001 season. What was the year for you where you thought, you know what, when I look back now, that was as good as it got?
Yeah, there were so many good years. Like I say, the characters of that early period. But I was on the periphery, being a front rower. You don't get, you didn't mature for a long time. So I suppose my best periods was a bit like now, when you had sort of, I'd either have David Barnes and Matt Stevens, or I'd have David Flatman and Duncan Bell. You had Borthwick and Grewcock in the second row, so nobody ever messed with me because I had Grewy behind me. And then you had sort of Andy Beattie, Mike Littman, big Zach Fianati. So those were probably that pack. We were so tight. And we bashed a few packs that those few years. Probably didn't play enough rugby until Brian Ashton came in and loosened us up, and then we started to play some phenomenal rugby. under sort of the Butch James, the Mikey Clarsons
Yeah.
era. So I would say that was the most enjoyable period, sort of, again, a bit like Bath. Now, it was built on massive, so we didn't play any rugby for about 2 years. We just ground teams down, and then all of a sudden, by the end of it, we were running from our, people used to kick to us. I just used to remember someone would catch it, and then, we'd run around, me and Matt Stevens would run around the corner. If there was a brick wall, I gave it to him. If they went onto the big mute, I'd just go through a gap and try and offload it, and we just attacked from everywhere, built on.
Yeah.
So those years, I think that was sort of, crikey, 6, 7, 8, 9 was it, I think?
Yeah. Some amazing days, actually. There was some brilliant rugby played. Both of you obviously are Lions. You mentioned the Lions of 01. You were a Lion in 09.
09, yeah.
Tell me about your memories of the 01 tour, because you kept not only Ian Bullshaw out of the 15 shot, but Jason Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible experience to walk into a Lions room. And the thing I learned most is, a successful Lions team, you almost got to leave your identity and nationality and bring your skill set and mindset and to say, how do we go and beat one of the best sides in the world? And you've got to do it quickly, because you've got to build trust incredibly quickly with the team mates you're with. So I learned that, and it's helped me massively after rugby as well. How do you build trust and relational alignment quickly with people in business, for example? But it was tough. Graham Henry was the coach, and I think he had a tough ride because he was Wales coach at the time. I think Clive was kind of
Doing Clive things.
Yeah. And so I think if you have certain elements of a team and squad who don't believe in the philosophy, again, you're going to get splits. And there were splits on that tour, without a doubt. And I think that did affect us. But we won the first test in Brisbane, lost the second, and we were so close to winning the third. And Johnny would have no doubt kicked that goal in Sydney. So it was tough. A lot happened. Our kit man unfortunately passed away on a fishing trip, and there was a lot going on. And it was, but it was an experience and a memory that I'll always remember.
And does it live on? I mean, if you see a Brian O'Driscoll now, or a Davith James, or a whoever it might be, does the Lions take you somewhere different for you?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's the romance of it. I think it's the, bringing 4 cultures into one very quickly to come up with, and then give, I'm a big believer in collaboration. You give something away, so even your best moves, has to
go.
What was that great move that, and so you've got to bring it all. And I think that's why there's no other team like it. And you've got some interesting characters who, leaders, and you look back on the history and the tradition of it. And I'm massive for modernising the game, but the Lions for me is something you've got to keep very special.
I'll ask you about the potential plans for them in a moment. But what about for you in 09?
So we'd come off the back of the 2005 Lions where it hadn't worked, and Paul O'Connell gave a mega speech where he basically said, "Look, some of you will never get this opportunity again to be in this room," and he said, "And I'm lucky to be here for a second time, so I beg you, please sacrifice 20-30% of your professionalism to become friends first," and that lived with me from then on. And in true Welsh style, we did it through drinking and socialising. But that's what the Lions was all about. And he did say, look, it's so easy to go and lie in your bed or stretch, or you'll do the analysis stuff, but just we're already the best players. We've got to become mates. And that's what we did. So we went back to sharing rooms. We swapped all the time. We brought the fun back into it. I don't know what it was like after that, but for me, it wasn't amateur because everybody trained hard, but it was a really, really good experience. And also it was, England at that point was quite uptight.
Yes.
And it was quite interesting to see the different cultures. And I always remember our first line-out session. With England, you got given your sheet, you didn't make mistakes. It was a bit Bath-esque, like, this is how it's going to be. And so we're all stood there, and Gatland sort of said, right, just give me 8 forwards that have looked at the line-outs. And I was like, looked at them, we've studied them. And so, of course, you could see everybody. And then Gethin Jenkins just nudged me and went, Andy Powell's in there. This will be hilarious. He's awful. And I was like, oh, no, you can't be awful. And so, of course, they call a call. Powell, he goes the wrong way. everyone sort of bumps into each other. I'm sort of there horrified, and the Welshies are like, do another one, put him under pressure. And then Powley, love him, was like, I got it, Powley, I got it. And then, of course, he cocked the next one up, and they're all going, ah! And I'm going, you can't laugh, but it took the edge off the seriousness.
Yeah.
You were still gave everything you had, but there was just a bit more of a, and the Irish boys were good, and that's how the tour went. We just became mates. And like you asked there, I spoke to Paul O'Connell early this week. I rang Stevie Ferris a few months ago for something. You just can reach out to boys whenever you see Powley. I can't thank that experience enough. The mates you make are for life. So it was good.
So as former Lions and two players who've played in some of the most iconic tests of the last, 20 odd years or so, what do you make of the story that's sort of beginning to build a little bit about the Lions potentially breaking away from the traditional New Zealand, South Africa, Australia rotation? Would you like a tour to France?
No. I love France.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mess
think
with
about
that
it.
tradition.
They've also
I think you
spoken
could
about
play a game against France like you did Argentina.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. A
They've
warm
spoken
up
about
or a-
Japan, Argentina, US possibly.
I do think it has to evolve, and I do think it should be inclusive in terms of if the quality of the opposition deserves it, but you've got to be able to fulfill a tour.
New Zealand is the only proper tour now where every game really tests.
Yeah, which is a shame. And the other teams could put out better sides, but they just choose to
Protect
rest
their test players.
Yeah, because it is a
the
shock.
Lions was where
Yeah.
it was like it didn't matter whether you were playing Wednesday or Saturday.
Yeah.
You knew you were in for
Yeah.
a tussle. Now,
Yeah.
there used to be test players who used to play in all the games.
Yeah.
Duncan McRae and when scrapping in New South Wales. Matty Rogers used to play, whereas now everyone's sort of wrapped up in cotton wool before the test series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't actually think that helps. I think Australia arguably going into that first game were probably undercooked a bit. So you do need those hard games. And I think you need to play against the opposition you play against to really feel what they're going to bring. So, but is that going to change? With a number of games players are playing, probably not. So we're sort of stuck in the middle somewhere, aren't we?
Yeah. But as Lions test players, you would not change it from the current rotation.
I change it. There's certain things, going back to your point there, Tins. There's something about the Lions tour where the players and fans alike, it's not meant to be easy, but to see those red jerseys in one of those countries, and I agree that the schedules need to be more robust with the players for sure, because this last Australian, it was not good. But I think a Lions tour is not supposed to be easy, but I think those countries, you've got the skill and composure of New Zealand, amazing. And the fact it's every 4 years, and then you've got the physicality of South Africa, and you've got that kind of discipline and patience of Australia. Each have got their little nuances and so I'd like to see it not watered down, to be honest, but that's just my view.
Yeah, strengthen it.
We've got to do our Continental Tyres Grip Strength Challenge, which we'll do in a minute. Just before we do that, though, just a sort of reflection on the whole. So you England debut 97, part of that brilliant England team of 2000, 2001, line in 2001. How do you reflect on... You were a proper rock star at the start of the professional era type thing. How do you reflect on the whole?
Was I?
Yeah, you were. And I'm saying that as someone who watched it. You were one of the new breed that sort of got England going in under Woodward and that generation. You laid the tracks for lots of others to follow.
Most cap fullback.
Most cap
for
fullback
a long
for
time
decades
until
and
Brownie
decades.
took it. Yeah.
How do you reflect on the whole?
How do I reflect on it? I reflect that the experience was something I didn't anticipate, but when you're in it, and someone asked me this question about the Hall of Fame, and for me, full commitment, having that reliability at the back, studying the game positionally, being the leader of the back three, the people, the company, the friends I've made, the support, the backroom support at Bath, England, Lions, those physios and the kit men and all these, Greg and Ken in his mid-80s, like you're bringing the kit out and you're feeling like, come on Ken, let's get this out together, and he's like, no, leave it to me, it's fine. So I reflect on for me, it's always been about the people.
Yeah.
But on the pitch, when you're on the pitch, performance. And again, one thing when I finished playing 20 years ago now, all my knowledge or advice, or it's almost like handing over your car to Nick Abendanon, who went on to play 200 games.
Yeah.
Because it's a short career, really. And so I had the most amazing time, and very privileged to be in that transition at a time when it was going through a major transformation. So yeah, but it's the people for me.
Yeah. You had injury troubles as well. It was
I
your
did, yeah.
back and your was it hamstrings and
Sciatica and my
yeah.
back, and
I mean, Pez sort of was one of the first. You started working with Margot Wells, didn't you, and doing all the sand dunes and
I used to go to Guildford
yeah.
every week to train with Margot,
Yeah.
and
turns out it was the car journey that fucked his back.
Your Daihatsu. I'm doing all the good work on the training pitch.
We're back to talking about cars. T-Lac fucked him. Ford Focus.
I shouldn't have been driving it like
Yeah.
this.
No, it was all this. They'll Rocky.
Yeah.
Just press the accelerator, Pez.
But did you? I mean, that obviously hampered a lot of what could have been. But there was obviously a fabulous. I call it fabulous because it was English rugby's benefit. But you had a great ding dong with Bush. He was one of your great mates.
Yeah, he's
etc.
fantastic. What an amazing guy. And I mean, I worked hard.
Yeah.
Physiologically and biomechanically, my body was about 10% of what Bush is.
Right.
Pace, and I like to see myself as a footballer, and but to have Bush's pace, and for him to be on the end of a ball that I'd give him, because we found a way of playing in a Bath team that we kind of both wanted to play fullback, but we worked out that we could both be in the team together.
Yeah.
And so any opportunity, I just give the ball to Bush.
So give it the gas.
I mean, he's a great friend. We worked it out. We kind of worked it out for the greater good of the team, that we could play together. But so I worked hard on my body. So one of the physio said to me, I used to do glute activations constantly on the pitch, during games, because I was like, sciatica's kicking in and my discs and but I think, probably looking back, I would have managed my body a bit better and played some
46 games a year.
Yeah.
Necessarily
and if you're
help.
injured you can't play. You have to say, but I didn't do that.
Yeah.
And so towards the end of my career, when you're actually suppositories every game,
Right.
it's not looking fun.
No.
So you've got
That's
to,
what you're
You
into,
didn't
I
need
suppose.
He didn't
Just
need
enjoyed
it.
it, yeah.
Just with pub.
Does that need to do with the... Yeah.
That's Millfield, that was.
But I mean, having been such a prominent part of English rugby's takeoff, did you watch 03 and think, good luck, guys? Or did you watch it and think, oh, fuck, if only...
No. I mean, I was part of the journey.
Yeah.
And I finished with England 2002. Came back from the Lions, so then my body was a bit broken, and I never got the form back really to get to vie for a place with England. So I had an intense 6 years, but I think my body was on a limit.
Yeah.
And to see them Bush come through, and you got Josh at fullback and Jason, and a completely different dynamic of a game as well. So it's great. I mean, I was part of the journey. Just didn't get to the medal, but it's the right thing for the country. So that's the key thing.
Very gracious. What made him a great man. How do you look at the whole, Mearsy? Do you look back and think, do you know what? I milked everything out of it. Are you someone that lingers on the ones that got away?
No, you can't do. I mean, I suppose when you spoke earlier, how many could we have won a couple of those finals? Could we have won a couple of those semi-finals? That'll always sort of be in the back of your mind. But I sort of, hopefully, everyone I ever interacted with, and that was I was a Devon boy. I didn't even realise trousers existed. I'd never really left the Shire. We just wanted
all the things.
You only wore shorts. They were trousers.
They were shorts and flip-flops, and it was...
I've been down there for a while. I didn't realise it was travelling back in time.
It was like that, but rugby just opened my eyes. I got to go to Castlecroft at 16 on a train to play in the county sort of Southwest Championships. Then we got to go to Portugal. I'd only ever been abroad once in my whole life, and then all of a sudden you're travelling with rugby, and it was. Yeah, everything was an experience, and meeting new people. And so, yeah, I think someone said to me once, "Oh, you're not serious enough, you don't growl." But I hoped that when I was on the field, I was a competitor, but when I was off the field, I'd make as many friends as I could and help as many people as I could, opposition, youngsters, so that's hopefully what I tried to do. And and I'm sorry if you did have a bad experience of me, but no, I just loved every minute of it.
Never apologise to the naysayers. I think I was saying this to you on Thursday night at the Bath Hall of Fame induction. I know every rugby club has a really special spirit to it, and that's part of why we all love the game. But there does seem something, and I think it possibly is because rugby is such a prominent part of the city, and the ground is in the centre, and Pulteney Bridge on Saturday is, the place to be. You were one club man. You were one club man as well. I mean, did you ever think about going anywhere else, or was it always Bath? And
no, I didn't, and I could have done.
Yeah.
I always had that ring in my head, A46. And
I ignored that.
The stock. No, what happened to you?
You were born in the city, I was like, I felt
They
that.
give me the key to it. It was
Pop it in the collection. Yeah. It does feel when you guys get back together. I mean, I can tell you, there's about 4 other shows we could have done, but we haven't been able to put to air. But it is a different era. But it also feels like a very kind of special time.
Yeah, 100%. Like this sort of this group, and then if you add sort of Bolsh in there, we sort of we had each other, because obviously you have like the guy, you have Catty up on Lansdowne, or you have DG halfway up, whatever it is where he's called. And then we had our little area in the Hollow in Twerton, or whatever it's called. It was Twerton,
Yeah.
And we sort of, we had to get together and cut our teeth together. So you sort of, blood, sweat, and tears together. You train together. You just sort of did that, and you helped each other force their way in. Obviously, Pezza was the leader because he'd been doing it for a little while. I sort of came down looking at Pez, going, well, he's played 13 all the time. That's the guy I've got to try and oust. But he was always set on. Really, after Clive had said that to him, he was going to be fullback. But we all worked together. Obviously, Bush Pig I'd been with for, through that massive tour, and sort of you just get to know someone so well. And we went on that journey, and basically they sum up what Bath was all about. And I didn't really want to leave Bath at the time. Probably had a little falling out with Andrew Brownsword about it, but
Little?
Yeah, relatively little. We just had a disagreement, but
He won.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I think you've done all right overall. Still reckon he's doing okay.
Yeah, no, not from that point of view. Just on the value of who you are and what you bring to a team. And I never thought I would ever leave Bath.
Do you remember him going? Do you remember it being a thing?
It was a massive shock. Yeah,
Was it?
Yeah. It's huge, because Tins was Tins. Not only what he brought on the field, which was 110% commitment. Look at his face.
Yeah.
But it was the
it's good now. It's been monitored.
Yes.
It's been AI.
Yeah, but it was the off-field stuff as well, was because you were losing someone. It's like when Pez retired, you lost someone that had been in the trenches with you. It was really tough. You do have some players that come in and come in and leave, and they come and add a bit of value. But yeah, Tim's been with us since day dot. So yeah, it was a.
And the fact it was Gloucester, I'm amazed you're both here, to be honest.
It was the right decision for Tins at that time.
Yeah.
But I think going back to, we looked after each other, and we looked after the next generation as well of players coming through, and that's quite special in a very small environment like Bath, because it is a village really, and it's in a bowl, and you've got all the supporters that come down, and very exciting now with the new stadium, and so yeah, it's It's a great place to be.
feels
Beautiful
it-
restaurants as well. Nice
Yeah,
Chinese.
yeah. Feels yeah, we did get on that one. It'll kick on.
Yeah.
I think Bath's in a place where it kick on, but it's built off the legacy of these two guys, and Pez was sort of that for sort of myself. Bolsh Mearsy was that guy, young kid who'd already got there, so he sort of proved, and then Clive had taken him in to the England setup so early. It was like, well, proof that you can do it. And Clive then came out with a thing: if you're young enough, you're old enough, and that was based off Pez and Longy.
Yeah.
And that was sort of motivation for us two and our little cohort of groups that were flying around. And Mearsy is very nice, but on the pitch he's not particularly nice because he's still,
fair?
Yeah.
You shit on the pitch?
He's still he's still a competitor in terms of people think he's just this nice, cuddly little teddy bear, but when he has his competitive moments, he's hard. You broke your hand very on the 18s tour, but he would try and play through it. So he's a tough man at the same time.
Little koala.
Yeah. So it was it was the foundation of all our careers was of that sort of ilk.
Yeah.
Just slightly before.
And are you both in the city now?
Yeah.
And do you notice the buzz
Oh.
with Finn at 10 and the success and the new stadium coming? I mean, it feels like it's been a long time between drinks, so to speak, but it feels like the buzz is back.
Well, I think there's a new support base coming in.
Yep.
So young players now look up to Finn, Ollie Lawrence, socials. But I think what's I respect about the club as well, the 1865 club is looking back to the past and the legacy to then educate those new supporters that there has been foundation set.
Yeah.
Finn will always have, a fan base, obviously, but you've got to look to the past in the present to go to the future, I think. And so, they're the special players of the time, and we just hope that they can emulate. And what a better time than to have a semi-final in the European Cup this weekend. It's like now's the right time.
Yes. Oh, so the
Pez.
juices are flowing.
How's your back?
Juices
All
are
right?
flowing. How's the sciatica?
I wasn't
Craps
mocking
kicking in.
Drawn my hamstring.
I wasn't mocking you, but I had this. Do you remember Pez when he used to give his team talks?
Yeah, a lot of hands. A lot of hands.
Lot of hands.
So you were
Like a
giving it
magician.
then. He was hilarious.
Getting in the
Yeah,
mood.
there we go. Look.
Yeah.
Bye.
The three of you were part of some very, very good teams. You've gone on to be a grown-up. You've gone on to be a grown-up. You sit under a set of stairs chatting rubbish every week. We've got a gin that we're still trying to flog, whatever it is, 3-4 years into it. But should we do the honours? Do you want to give it a little sort of...
Yeah, you can get it. You've got them.
Pezza, that's for you, from us.
Thank you very much.
You've got Remy my side.
That's very kind.
Quick one down the line as well to
Oh,
Mearsy.
thank you,
Do you want to
thank
give it a
you.
little blast on this?
Yeah, obviously we set this up.
Have you tried this before or not? You must have had it.
Yeah, I have.
Launched again in
yeah.
2023, and then we donate £1.50 for every bottle we sell into our Black Eye Rugby Fund, which we've donated to Gary Street and Lewis Moody, and
Bit to
we're gonna,
Hambo.
hopefully there's some interesting times coming.
There are.
Hopefully we want to be up there donating £1 million to rugby-related causes that we can actually make a difference.
Oh,
on.
man.
Very good.
Food glass
Superb.
with ice, slice of orange, Mediterranean tonic this weekend
back.
to watch Bordeaux
Yeah.
against Bath. Are they going to do it? Or is it a bridge too far?
I think they will,
Do you?
but it will be very close.
yeah.
I mean, that's
Be a hell of a blowout, isn't it?
I think
60 Bordeaux 5.
I think it'll be a shootout.
Do you?
Yeah.
Roll of the dice.
Yeah.
I just it's got to happen, hasn't it? It's been building for a while. There's no better time to beat Bordeaux. No one can question easy draws. You're playing against the best,
Yeah.
and you have to win the European Cup. That's why we love it.
Yeah.
So they're going to go down there, and they've been preparing for this for a long time. So
Final,
think,
final
couple
Bilbao
of
as well.
years-
Bath will travel.
I think
yeah,
Van Graal will have found he'll find a little angle that he'll let Finn unpick.
It would be wonderful. A new fresh name back in a final of Europe.
Just Russell versus Chalobert.
it's,
Ticket price on its own, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is now time for
Come
our
on, Pez, you limp
Continental
it up.
Tyres Grip Strength
I need
Challenge.
a wee if I squeeze this up.
Who would like to go first, and who
Go
would you
on,
like to
Pez.
beat? So
Yeah.
if you
Press
fail to beat 54.1,
You just don't. You just want to try and beat
54.1 is still the absolute
at Bob Skins.
You turn
bottom
it on.
of the
You turn
basement.
it on, Pez.
So
It's not
Matt,
on.
you need to turn it on. So
What do I
take your
do?
time. Take your
Just
time.
hit on.
Take your time.
I really need a wee.
The tension is building.
Can I
here.
stand
Stand
up?
You can
up.
stand up.
Up's
Yeah, you
always
can
a good
stand up.
idea.
Yeah.
Stand up's a
Like,
good
get yourself
idea.
nice and comfortable. Put one foot up on the chair to really get a bit of
Good,
purchase
Let's get
on
the
it.
lunge on.
Come on, Pezza. The people know what it is now. Right. Right, here we go.
3, 2, 1.
Wins on
No, that's terrible.
35.9. This may be the day that I have waited.
sweaty.
Oh,
Too
he's belly
sweaty.
sweat. He's belly sweat.
You're too sweaty.
Right.
Just check that it's not
Mizzy,
broken,
right,
is it?
Mizzy, you have a
Set
go
to
just to make sure.
How do I read?
Matt Perry, you're like one of those Formula One cars that goes straight from the start line back to the pit lane. Right, Mizzy, this is the proof
This
point.
is just a warm up, is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
this
is it? Okay.
This is a proof.
Well, yeah, I tell you what.
This is a proof that it's not broken.
Imagine if Mizzy can't do that. Oh, he's gone. Oh, he's bulging.
No,
he's
no,
bulging. He's
he's
kept
done
it
it.
quiet.
That's a little warm up, is it?
58.6.
Oh, he scrambles above.
I do need a wee.
Right, Matt. Mizzy, you
Should
write
we
your
give
name on there.
Pezza one more chance.
Come on.
Okay,
Can
this
I-
could be.
can I have
No,
one
there's
more go
no
on this
ifs,
hand?
and maybes. Yeah, you can do what you
Yeah.
like. This may be the day
That-
that I have waited
You
a
are not-
long time for, and I don't want it to be Matt Perry because he was one of my faves, but I will take it if I'm given it.
I haven't done weights for a while.
Have you not?
No.
Okay, right.
Since
So
2005.
he's having he's having another go. He's adopting a different pose. Okay, the composure. He's burst a blood vessel. Has that gone up or down?
41.
41.5.
41.5.
Pez, what I'm going to give you, he still hits all right. What I am going to give you, though, is the credit that you were England's most capped fullback for quite some time. But 41.5, we may need to put that one just on the floor.
Hayden's going to have a celebratory drink.
And more than that, it's going to be a victory lap and an open bus stop parade. There's part of me that is so pleased and part of me that
Yeah,
is,
so disappointed.
so disappointed.
46.7.
46.7. Yeah. Matt Perry,
Oh, dear.
one of the greats. Well done, fellas. That was certainly eventful. That was our Continental Tyres Grip Strength Challenge. Remember, premium
Wowzers.
tyres don't just boost performance. Pezza, perhaps a Conti tyre will help you through the higher echelons. They give you better safety control and stopping power compared to budget tyres. And you can learn more about Continental Tyres at continental-tyres.co.uk. Is that the most extensive workout you've had in a while?
When see what?
Yeah.
No, I'm in the gym, but all I do in the gym now is walk.
Right. That
And
may,
then-
your body's
that may
limits.
explain
Yeah.
why
Your body's
46.7
And obviously
is the top one.
chest,
And
chest,
chest.
chest.
Yeah. Good. We should do more of these, actually.
Yeah.
We've done a bit with Northampton. We've done a bit with Bath. Let us know where else you think we should go. Touring the clubs and the greats of yesteryear. Perhaps Hask and some of the 07 Wasps lot. That'd be quite good. 03 maybe. Let us know in the comments who else you think we should dig out from the archives and let them relive the glories of yesteryear. Thank you very much indeed, Matt. Thank you, Lee. Good luck, obviously, with
Thank
all
you
that's to
very
come. The lock-in is available on Apple and Spotify. That's $3.99. Black Eye, as you know, is out and about. blackeyegin.com if you fancy buying a bottle and contributing to the Black Eye Rugby Fund. Also available on Waitrose and Amazon and all sorts of other places. Do Google it and have a buy if you want. Look out for our other shows. Good Bad Football, Good Scans Rugby, Rugby Confidential, Good Bad Beast. Joe Marler will see you now. And the Luxury Dispatch. Continental Tyres are the sponsors of the Continental Tyres Schools Cup, driving the next generation from the ground up. We're a platform media production, stats and facts provided by Russ Petty and Oval Insights. And this episode was produced by Tom Edwards. Have a very good rest of your week. Good luck to the Bath. See you on the other side. Bye for now.
You've been listening to The Good, Yay, The Bad, and The Rugby, Oof, with Alex Payne, James Haskell and Mike Tindall. Thanks for listening.